Hey guys, welcome to the channel. Today we're going to be taking a look at this guy. This is the Weebill 3E Cinepeer by Zhiyun. They sent this over to me for review so that I can show it to you guys. This is a compact 3-axis gimbal with all of the features that you still might need for your next full-featured film. Let's take a look at a couple of the different features of this particular gimbal. The first being its compact size. Once you take off the tripod and the camera, you can fold this down into what is essentially the size of a piece of paper, which is really helpful. There are pro-grade algorithms in here to allow for the best stability and smoothness inside this particular package and setup. This gimbal does have Bluetooth control. You can control the camera's shutter speed, aperture, ISO, focus modes, focusing, and start-stop recording all wirelessly. It's super easy to set up, and we'll go over that in this video so that you guys can get a handle on how to do that. The buttons on this gimbal are really nice. They feel well and they're nice and tactile. They're also fully customizable. So if you want to map ISO to the scroll wheel, or you want to map photos to the shutter here, to the trigger, you can do all of that. It does have a 0.96 OLED screen on the back, which is super bright and very easy to read in direct sunlight. During my testing, I had no issues with it whatsoever. The button layout, which we'll go over, is intuitive. It's easy to navigate the menus. And this gimbal is very comfortable to hold for a long period of time. Should you be shooting all day, it is also compatible with its sling accessories, so it does have a rest here. If you want to shoot this for an extended period of time, you can do that. And speaking of extended time, this particular gimbal is rated for a battery life, and you can fast charge this via USB-C. We're going to go over what comes in the box here. We're going to go over what kind of payload this thing can carry. We're currently running a Sony a7C Mark II with a G 20mm lens from Sony, and it's handled that combination just fine. We're also going to show you what kind of modes are in this gimbal and what you can achieve with this gimbal, as well as side-by-side comparisons between using a gimbal and not using a gimbal, as well as the different modes of stabilization within the camera paired with the gimbal, in order for you guys to see a full comparison and show you exactly what you can achieve with a setup just like this. Inside the box, you'll find this nice styrofoam carrying case, which is durable enough to be used to carry the gimbal and holds everything still while you're transporting all of your equipment. Inside, you will find a branded tripod, large enough to hold the gimbal on an uneven surface. Camera base plate with rubber stoppers on it to keep the camera from sliding around. You'll also find a mounting screw for the camera base plate, an Allen wrench to tighten it all down, a USB-C to USB-C cable for camera connection to the gimbal, and an extra USB-C to USB-A cable as well. Lastly, you'll find the Weebill 3E gimbal. The Weebill 3E isn't just well designed, it's well constructed. On the bottom, it has 3 1/4-20 points, which you can use to mount a tripod to in different types of accessories. It's constructed of a lightweight gray plastic material, and on the front of the gimbal you can find a scroll wheel that is well dampened, as well as a soft touch trigger. On the left side of the gimbal you will find the USB-C charging port, and on the right side you will find the power menu button and scroll wheel, which is clickable to make navigating the menus super easy. On the back side of the gimbal you will find that 0.96 OLED screen, and as well as the mode button and the record button, which is a soft touch button. So you touch it, you can do something like get the camera to focus, and then you can push it all the way in and the camera will start recording. The arms on this are well constructed. They're made out of metal and they have light gray plastic inserts on the back side. Each arm has its own axis lock, allowing you to unlock and lock the axes of this gimbal for easy setup and installation. There is also markings on every single arm to allow for easy setup. You can write these down for if you are balancing different cameras, taking cameras on and off of this, and you don't want to have to, rebalance the entire thing. You can get a really good ballpark as to where you're going. Next, we're going to take a look at the menu system. By pressing the button on the side here, you can access the menu. As you can see, there are several different settings within the menu system. There is one for the motors, and you can control this just by clicking and scrolling the wheel on the side here. This first one is auto, custom, and level. These are how you calibrate the motors. If we go down, we have advanced settings, which is speed, smoothness, deadband, tracking, and default. These are all settings that control the gimbal's motor's reaction to how fast you move. Next, we have the Bluetooth shutter here. It will say that there's no camera enabled right now, but we can set that up later, and you'll be able to control your camera's settings from the Bluetooth. Next we'll have a function wheel here. This will control exactly what the function wheel up front does. You can choose between pitch, roll, yaw. You can turn it off completely. You can also change camera settings like ISO, shutter speed, and aperture, as well as the zoom and e-zoom, and also focus. Next down we have the wheel set. We can either set the sensitivity or reverse it so that it works in the inverse of how it operates. We also have joystick settings for the joystick over here. We can invert the settings on the joystick or leave them the same so that when you push up it goes up, or when you push up it goes down. We also have trigger options that will allow us to do certain things. You can set the trigger to just enable whatever mode you'd like. We also have vortex setting modes here. This is so you can go ahead and set up into a vortex. You can choose the direction, the angle, and then when you press start, it will automatically turn this in. You need to be in vortex mode for this to work. We also have trajectory settings here. There's different modes and points you can set up if you want to use more advanced functions. You can set and trim the angle for this if you would like, and you can reset the settings back to default. These are the menu options on the Weebill 3E Cinepeer. Next, we'll go ahead and take a look at the different modes. We have pan follow mode. All the roll axes are going to be ignored, and the only one that's going to be receptive to my input is the pan mode. This is great for real estate or somewhere where you want to keep the horizon level. The next mode is going to be lock mode. That's going to lock all axes of the camera, so if you're looking to do like a crane type shot, you're going to be able to achieve that with this particular mode. The next one is going to be full mode. So this is going to be, it's going to follow my pan and tilt, but it's also going to follow my up and down. And that's going to be good for time lapses or anywhere where you want to get sweeping vistas of a room, or you want to look up or down. You can do that as well. Double tapping the button for the mode also enables some other ones. We do have POV mode on this, which will now enable the roll axis as well. So if you're looking to do very complicated gimbal maneuvers, you can now do those with the FPV mode. It's kind of like an FPV drone, so if you're looking to fly in somewhere like this or do something fancy, you can do that with this particular mode. Double tapping again equals vertical mode. This is going to allow you to go into what I like to call flashlight mode. So if you're looking to keep the gimbal low to the ground, this is easy. If you need to get really, really close to something, you can use this particular mode. You can also use the joystick to roll this particular mode and create a vortex pushing movement in and out by rotating the camera upside down. And there are different settings inside of the gimbal to allow you to set the speed and duration of that. The next one is going to be portrait mode. Now this is a really nice gimbal because it actually enables you to use portrait mode without any other accessories. Most gimbals require you purchase something else. However, this one does not. So if you're looking to do vertical shooting for shorts or Instagram reels, this gimbal is going to be great for you, and it allows you to do it without any necessary hardware whatsoever. Let's go ahead and take a look at what that looks like. Let's talk about the vertical shooting for a moment, because that's a unique budget option that this gimbal offers that most gimbals do not. You usually have to purchase additional stuff in order to get this done. But with the 3E, along with the Cinepeer Spirit, you don't need to do that. You're just gonna remove the camera and base plate from the mounting plate. You're then going to actuate the second lock in here. You're gonna move that so that it's unlocked. What that's gonna do is allow this base plate to slide freely. Now, there is a retaining pin on this side as well, which you need to depress in order to get this to come off, but it will. And then once you do that, you can take this, go ahead and mount your camera to it, like so. Now I'm gonna lock that down. So I'm gonna use that first lock to lock that into place. And then I'm gonna take the whole assembly and rotate it 90 degrees and slide it back on. Now I have a vertical shooting rig set up to rebalance your gimbal for native vertical shooting, which is great. If you're looking for the full hands-free experience, you can go ahead and pair your camera via Bluetooth to the actual gimbal, allowing you to stop and start recording, changing parameters like ISO, shutter speed, aperture, and even allowing a follow focus as well. So what we're going to do is turn our camera's Bluetooth control on. Once you do that, you can go ahead and go into the pairing menu and select your camera in the Bluetooth pairing section of the gimbal. It will automatically pop up once your camera's in pairing mode and you just select connect. Now you won't be able to control your camera yet. You have to scroll down in the menu on your camera and tap on the Bluetooth remote control setting. Once you do that, you'll be able to control your camera via Bluetooth and you won't have to worry about manipulating your camera once it's balanced on the gimbal. So let's go ahead and take a look at that now. Just push this button and now you're recording. You can also soft press this button to focus. As you can see, it should be focusing it now. And then press it again to start and stop recording, harder. Now you have full wireless control of your camera via Bluetooth on this gimbal for $249, which is a great value. Now that we've got our camera all set up, let's go ahead and turn on the A7C Mark II. So we're gonna be flying a full frame camera with a 20mm G lens from Sony, and it carries this particular payload with no issues whatsoever. We're gonna go ahead and try this in 3 different versions. We're gonna go ahead and do with no stabilization on the camera, standard stabilization on the camera, and then active stabilization on the camera, and see where we get the best results from. I hope you guys enjoyed the presentation on the Weebill 3E Cinepeer gimbal. This thing, in my opinion, is amazing. For $249 to get a gimbal that's really small and collapsible, that performs this well, can carry a decent payload, and we're talking about full frame cameras, as well as my FX30 and the 55mm lens there, the 18-55. It's just a really good combination. The Bluetooth connection is a game changer, especially for $249. If you're just getting started out, as you guys can see from the video footage, there's a huge difference. Even between a camera that's as formidable as the A7C Mark II, it's got really good in-body image stabilization, but it doesn't hold a candle to this gimbal in terms of performance. So, if you want it, if you just have to have it, there's a link down in the description below. I encourage you to check it out. It is an affiliate link. It does help out the channel, but I will also post a 10% coupon down there so you guys can save a little bit of dough along the way. If you guys have any questions or comments, post them down in the comment section below. If you found value in this video, give it a like. It took me forever to make this video. If you guys really like the vibe here and you want to get into bags and carrying stuff and maybe some camera gear reviews, give the video a subscribe. Until next time, stay kind to each other.